a little bit.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah, I hear you. I think
Yeah,
we got 2 minutes to go before we kick off. So your progress in terms of getting through it was fine, or was it quite difficult for you?
About the market or what?
Yeah, no, you were talking about that you had COVID. I was just asking.
Okay. I had all my family had that. My mom was she didn't have that, but the daughter, everybody, and too much.
Orlando, we've got a very unstable link with you. If it stays this way, I might ask you to call in rather than video. We'll see how it goes when we kick off at 7 o'clock. Where is he? We've lost Orlando. His connection is very bad. Lou, I wonder if you wouldn't mind texting him and asking him to call in rather than phone in. We'll just do a video call from him. His connection seems to be very unstable.
Yeah, sorry for the connection is low. I don't.
Yeah, Orlando, it might make more sense for you to do it by telephone rather than video.
But I can. But WhatsApp. What do you want to do?
Well, it's just in past times when we've had this problem out of Europe, the best thing is you'll see in the invite there is a telephone number to call in Singapore, which links you into the Zoom conference, and you can actually do it without the video, and then we won't have that breakdown. I think that might be a better idea.
Oh fuck.
Have a look at the invite. You'll see
Actually,
the number.
Rob, why don't you try and Orlando try to link in again. Try a new link. It may well work. So tap out.
Now it works well. Now.
Okay.
Now it works so well.
All right.
Then we try to start again.
Okay.
Yeah, let's press it in.
Okay, let's go. And I'll leave much of the talking to you, Orlando, so we don't have too much lag on the vocals. So thank you so much for coming tonight. I was just reading back to see it. I didn't realize that you'd been family owned from the middle of the 18th century, so a very long time, but still producing a really tight number of bottles, 120,000 bottles, 25 hectares. In general terms, it's not a big operation, but very often what happens with an operation like that is you're handing from father to son and father to daughter the qualities of what make really good wine, rather than going too big and industrializing the process. And I think that's one of the things that we've found to be of particular interest in the Pecchenino as we've been drinking it over the years. Opening the wines earlier tonight, I have to confess I was probably wrong in calling the Pinot Nero as the first wine to look at tonight. I was thinking maybe the second wine, the Dogliani Dolcetto, might be the best place to start, and then onto the Quass, and then the Pinot Nero. How do you feel about that?
Oh, Pinot Noir is a joke because just we started planting the new varietals here. It is just 5-6 producer. They have this varietals. It's very difficult to grow, very difficult to find a good place for growing that. And we make some years in red wine, and every year for sparkling. But it's very difficult because you need to find a very great vintage for him. You don't need to be too much humidity, you don't need to be too much warm. You have a normal temperature, and because you need to save the aromatic of the wine. And but when we have that, when we have the great evolution, the great combination for that, is really interesting wine.
I must say,
in the first week of September.
Are we starting with 1 or 2, Robert?
No, we're starting with 1, the Pinot Nero. Yeah. Over to you, Orlando.
Because we harvest in the first week in September, and we have fermentation, a little bit cooler fermentation, about 25-26 degrees. And then in this case, we ate in the large barrels. And it's very interesting wine. It's not so big, it's not so complex, but you have a great aromatic, and they have it's a great wine for aging as well. But here we have not too much. Of course, Pinot Noir and the Nebbiolo is some similar about aromatic, about the color, about the complexity. And many producers, some producers to start many years ago to plant also Pinot Noir, but Nebbiolo is more rustic wine, is more strong variety, and in the vineyard, especially in the vineyards, Pinot Noir is so delicate. Not every year is different. Every year and every yield is different as well, because you need to find a very good location for this variety. In my new futures, we're going to make. We bought some land, 700 meter for level, over to level, and we're going to make this wine a 700 meter for altitude. Now it's located at 450 meters. But in the future, I want to move this production in the new vineyard at 700 meters. I think we can save more acidity, and we can have more opportunity to make more balance in the wine. But we just study right now. We're waiting a few years to have a more complexity in the wine, but in the future I want to produce there, because I have a specific location for I don't know if you know that, but 10 years ago we bought some land for to start to produce a sparkling wine. We started for this adventure 10 years ago, but just to try. But now we have the opportunity to understand the opportunity for this place for wine, and especially for Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. And now we invest more. We bought more land there, and we have a specific location for to make this wine and the sparkling wine. The sparkling wine is a new for us, but is a wine with an old discipline. It's called Langhe. Is located in a beautiful place there, and the soil is so white, it's so minerality, and the quality of the sparkling is unbelievable. And
I'm looking forward to having a taste of that. I would say, Orlando, that the 16 is for me the richest and most genteel example of the various Pinot Nero that we've tasted from you over the years. There seems to be a kind of grace about the 16 that is definitely more profound than was in previous years. I really love the soft kind of broadness on the palate. Because so often in Italy, the Pinot Nero can be a little tannic, a little grippy, but there's none of that here at all. It seems to be a whole new experience for me trying this wine.
Of course, the problem for Pinot Noir is to maintain the acidity and to have a balance in the wine. We have the aging in the wood is important, but we don't need to have too much wood in the wine, because you need to find a good balance for the wood, wine, and fruity aroma. Something you have in the vineyard, something you have after in the making. And the problem of Pinot Noir is to have this in wine. Usually you have with Pinot Noir 14% or 15%. Sometimes if you test some Pinot Noir from California, for example, is cooked. Too much alcohol, too much is too much sweet. Sometimes the tannin is green. This is good. Or when you have is the place too cold, you have the wine is so light, it's so good. The problem of the Pinot Noir to have the perfect combination for the balanced aromatic acidity. This is you save the aroma, you save the quality, you save the unique wine. This is the character of Pinot Noir. But it's very difficult to have that, to find this, because two days harvest later the wine is gone. Because in 3 days, in 4 days, it changed completely. The quality of the balance in the wine. Very important to check every day the grape. You maintain the bunch to be covered about the leaves, because if you stay in front the sun, you lost the water, it cook, and you lost the fruity. It's so difficult grape to grow. But if you find a good place, if you find a good for example, sorry.
Well, buona fortuna with your new vineyard. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Pinot looks like at 700 meters. I mean, it's all about coolness and those temperature extremes. And you pointed out the minerality of the soil is all defining. And if one goes to the Von Romane or Côte de Nuit, that's what defines the wine, is that beautiful minerality endemic in the soil. Let's move to number 2, if we can, Orlando, the Dogliani Dolcetto.
Which wine do you have?
Dogliani Dolcetto.
What is the second wine? Siridiamo?
Superiore Bricco Botti, number 2017.
Bricco Botti 17.
Okay, Dogliani is the most famous place for this variety. Is Dolcetto is a very old variety for Piedmont. In the past was planted everywhere. Now it is just a few places they have exclusivity for this wine, because in the region of the Barolo you find more Nebbiolo. You don't find Dolcetto right now, just Nebbiolo everywhere. In this place, in the south of the Langhe, and we have a little bit of high for altitude, and this variety is very interesting for fruity, for complexity. Bricco Botti is a different wine. Many times Dolcetto is very fruity, is very little bit easy to drink, wine for every day. In this case, we have a long aging in the barrels. The wine have a richer complexity, dark wine in balsamic note, a good tannin, and after 2 years in the barrels, the wine we put in the bottle in 3-4 years is getting better every year, more complex. aroma is we have the secondary aroma is red fruit, black red fruit, black licorice, balsamic, spicy a little bit, and it's pretty wine you keep long time in the cellar.
Yeah, I would say that
wine.
this wine for me was my turning point in appreciating Dolcetto, because up until I tasted this wine, it was a previous vintage. We were there 3 years ago now with you. But for me, it was a major turning point because I'd always made the mistake of underappreciating the quality of Dolcetto. It's always, for me, it's been seen as an entry wine, a simple wine, something that really doesn't have any gravitas about it. But what I found with this particular wine was 24 months in oak. It has a sense of presence and a soul that's really great, but it also is not giving away the freshness and the cleanness that defines Dolcetto. So somehow you've elevated Dolcetto from an everyday wine to something of great importance in my view.
This is a new system for a new way to understand to appreciate this wine. It's a different way. Many times, most of the times, you drink wine a little bit youngest. The wine is really fruity. It's pretty interesting wine. In this case, it's different option, different expression of this grape. But in this case, the production is very limited. We talk about 4,500,000 bottles, not every year. For example, what do you have? 16? Do you
17.
have
17.
17. But 17, we have 18. We didn't make. We have 19, and maybe 2020 in the future. But 18 is not available. We have a 17 right now. But the production is very limited.
Yeah, Orlando. Yeah, Orlando. It'd probably be fair to say that would you be one of the biggest producers of Dolcetto still in Piemonte, because you make 3 different types, right? The
3 different wine, yes, exactly.
Yeah, the Gelmù, the San Luigi, and the
San Luigi is the wine entry level, and we have a pretty important production, but it's not traditional making of this wine. Very to drink, fruity wine, very friendly. Is another we call cru, but is a specific single vineyard. Bricco Botti is a little bit clay, and the Siridiemo is a little bit calcareous. And the wine you have a little complexity. You have a more complexity, fruity. Bricco Botti is really powerful wine, dark, and the big expression of great wine, great powerful, great complexity, and great potential for wine.
Orlando, how in terms of the maturity profile of Dolcetto, or at least the Dolcetto that you make, so something like this, the Bricco Botti Superiore, what sort of maturity time frame do you give it? 5 years, 10 years? Because it seems to me to be quite vibrant.
In Bricco Botti, I get some bottle every year in my cellar. For example, 95, 96, 97, 98, 1998 is a great vintage for that. But I taste sometime. But 15 years is a good range for this wine.
Yeah. Because I think most people would think, 3 to 5 years maximum, but this thing's fresh. I mean, it's very fresh.
No, it's 10 years. Maybe it's a good time for drink, I think, between and 10 years, I think, because it's a little bit Pierre.
Yeah, I guess
After
for those
10
on the
years,
call,
no
for
problem.
those on the call who probably aren't aware, Orlando, are you still president of the Consorzio di Barolo?
No, I'm out 2 years ago.
The politics
more.
finally got to you. Yeah, I
No,
was
I haven't.
thinking, Italian politics, you must have been assassinated many years ago.
No, I finished my time, my experience. I have too much to work at home. I have no, because it's free. Is we have no no money back.
Yeah, nothing in life should be free, Orlando.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on to the
Three times.
Cass. The Cass. If I've done my research right, it's 85% Barbera, 15% Nebbiolo. Is that right?
About Bricco Botti?
No,
No.
onto the Cass, number 3.
The Barbera Quass.
Barbera
sorry,
Quass
not
is 100% Barbera.
Oh, okay.
Is have no mix with other wine.
Okay. Maybe my notes
pure
was
wine.
that. Maybe my notes said that Alba allows 15% Nebbiolo to be allowed to be called Alba. So in your instance, it's Barbera. Okay.
It's permit. In for example, Barolo, Barbaresco, Dogliani to use other varieties. For the Barbera, for example, or it's the same for Langhe Nebbiolo. It is possible to use 15% for another grape.
Got it.
But
okay.
somebody use that, but I have no my political system because I try to test I prefer to test specific of this variety and not have the mix for other flower or
Got it. Yeah. Because the expression tasting it earlier and then again, the one thing that I'm left with when I tasted it was there's this brilliant intensity and purity, and it's quite a linear wine at this stage. I really like that. The other notes that I made was lots of cherry and strawberry. I got quite.
Yeah.
Example of Barbera. Really love it.
But Barbera is a specific, of course, is a very unique wine in Piedmont because they have always in the wine from Piedmont a lot of tannin, Grignolino or Dolcetto, Nebbiolo. Freisa is another grape with a lot of tannin. Some grape, Barbera you have no tannin, and but a little. This is the quality, the structure of the wine. More acidity is mean sometimes more freshness, more freshness in the wine.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's also more green. Sometimes it's more green, but the character of the Barbera is a lot of fruity, more prune, more dark fruity, and sometimes is more mineral, some mineral, some stone mineral. And this is the quality. The complexity is different because you have no tannin. The taste is a little bit shorter and is not too much longer. But if good vintage, good section, small quantity, it's very interesting wine because you have a complexity is richer. But with when the production is a little bigger, the wine is so light, is so green, so acid, don't like too much. But in the good vintages, when you the vineyard, you have a best selection in the vineyard bunch. No big problem, good vintages, cold, but form Barbera is complex, richer, and it's very interesting wine. It's like we compare a little bit with Merlot. If you want
Yeah.
to make similar, Merlot is sometimes little bit similar.
Yeah,
But,
I would argue that it's Merlot in terms of the phenolics, a little bit of richness, similar to Merlot, and the mid palate. But I would say that when it comes to Merlot, the back palate, the length probably is different from Barbera.
But Barbera is very important varietals from here. Of course, Barbera was planted everywhere. Now the production is we reduce the production because most place, most land planted because it's a more important grade. And but in few cases, in few cases, especially outside of the Barolo region and Barbaresco region, you find Barbera. But Barbera is planted almost in a large part of Piedmont, especially in the northeast, where is the Barbera d'Asti. There is are very focused of this Barbera, but Barbera d'Asti very different. It's very different. Barbera d'Asti a little bit lighter, a little bit fruity. Barbera in Alba is more complex and more richer, more dark, more minerality. Is a little bit different, but the quality is great everywhere, I think. But it's different expression of Barbera.
So Orlando, let's look at the three Barolo side by side, if we could. I'm particularly keen to have your overview on the three different labels. From a sales point of view, what's going to make it super interesting is that all three of them have the same suckling 95 points. So technically, looking at these three wines tonight, from a wine ratings point of view, he's placed them on equal quality. I have a personal opinion about which one I like the most, and it'll be interesting to see maybe in a few minutes after you've introduced them to us, a vote from the people online as to which one is their preference. But maybe you can explain for us the three side by side. I'm aware that the San Giuseppe is a blend of three vineyards. The Monforte is only one vineyard, and Bussia only one vineyard. In my limited but hopefully increasing understanding of Barolo, Bussia is often seen as the prized region in Barolo for Nebbiolo. But let's see, maybe you can talk us through those three labels now side by side.
Okay. My experience to Barolo is beginning in 2004, and we bought the first piece of vineyard in Coste, and then after we bought more vineyard there. Now in total we have 5 hectares in the Barolo area, but it's a large area because we talk about now 2,000 total. We have 9 different villages. Is imported Alba. For the Alba, I think you have now every territory of the Barolo have different cru, but we use a different name similar for cru, and every small area you have a different name. Monforte, for example, we have a different cru, Bussia, Ginestra, Mosconi, Ravera, it is different. I have vineyard in Le Coste di Monforte, we have vineyard in Ravera di Monforte, and we have vineyard in Bussia di Monforte.
Okay.
Now,
So, yeah.
we
Sorry.
have-
Sorry. Carry on.
we have
No, carry
also the new cellar. We have also the new cellar to make Barolo. Is located. We bought a small farm there, and we make a wine specifically in this area. But and Bussia is a little bit older vines. Bussia, we have vineyard 47, 48 years old, and Bussia about 15, 16 years old. Ravera is a new vineyard. We have vineyard for 8 years old, and some years ago we decided to make two selections for specific, because Le Coste and Bussia have a different terroir, completely different terroir. Ravera and Le Coste is more similar, but Bussia and Le Coste is very different, because Bussia is southwest to Monforte d'Alba. Le Coste is west to Monforte d'Alba.
Would you agree, Orlando?
Sorry.
Is more floral, feminine expression?
If you want to know what is the different for the land. Okay, Bussia okay. White, calcareous, white marl. The color is very white, more basic in the land, more white, a little bit. But very fruity, aromatic, and balanced.
Okay.
Bussia sometimes is more richer, dark color, complex, and more tannin. This is the big difference.
Okay, so that does follow kind of my proposition, that sort of more tannic muscularity in Bussia. I know that what for me was, there's an ideology in the New World that a blend of regions creates a more interesting wine, because the characteristics of the various vineyards are coming together. And so for me, that is certainly showing in the first of the three Barolo, the San Giuseppe. I'm getting a lot of that impact of the Ravenna vineyard, which is 50% of the blend. There's definitely that youthful exuberance that's coming out in the Giuseppe through that. So what I thought we might do, I know we're running over time, was to ask for a general, which is the blended one, maybe what we should try to do is get some votes as to which of the three Barolo is the favorite of the trilogy. But for me, my takeaway of this has been the blended one, which is an expression of various ideologies, altitudes, and characteristics. The Monforte, La Coste, which is for me more ethereal, talking more about balsamic. There's a beautiful, almost a waxiness maybe in the wine. And then finally with the Bussia, which is quite tight and tense right now, I would argue that of the three Barolo, that's the one that's going to need more time of the three side by side. Yeah.
Exactly. Perfectly.
Of
course, San Giuseppe is Ravera di Monforte and Le Coste di Monforte is more similar about the land, but Ravera is also a little bit elegant wine, a little bit softer, and then also in San Giuseppe, we have a little bit youngest vineyard.
Yeah,
And the one is more approachable, very approachable, beautiful balance, aromatic, licorice, balsamic notes, raspberry, and the small fruity, tobacco a little bit, and but little bit less complexity, but not too much different. Le Coste is very, very elegant wine, very soft tannin, more fruity. You have a stem, licorice, tobacco, underground, little bit truffle. Sometime after 4 years for aging, you can beginning to understand to truffle, white truffle. And then it is fruity as well, balsamic note, mint, and raspberry as well. Complexity, elegant, fruity, more a little bit long tasted, but no, very softer, very elegant. Bussia is more strong, a little bit. It change every year as well, a little bit, but in general is a little bit more tannin, more full of tannin. More long taste, more spicy. We have a balsamic note as well, but spicy, and black cherries, and a little bit later sometime, and but really more strong, a little bit more complex. Usually you need to wait a little bit more time for this quality of the wine, but a little bit more richer, more masculine, and this is all. But for about the making is exactly the same, because we have about 2 months in fermentations, 1 year, 1 month in for fermentation for this sugar in alcohol, and another month for the contact of the skins. And
there's a comment that Colin made, which is, I was about to say, thanks, Col. In terms of doing your votes, you need to look at accessibility right now, in terms of what you're loving the most about these 3 wines right now. The Bussia is the one that's going to take longer to open up. For me, it's quite tight and quite tightly coiled, but having tasted 4 or 5 vintages before the 16, I'm very, very confident that over time, it's going to be this beautiful expression of fruit. It's just a question of timing. So it's a little unfair to place a vote on the 3 right now, because clearly the other 2 are showing better at this very early stage in Nebbiolo terms. But
of course, we have 24 months in the barrels, in the large barrels. Now we have we stay another year in the cement, the concrete cement, and then we put in the bottle. 16 is really great vintages, really great vintages, because you have a complexity and freshness and fruity. We have a alcohol, but it's not too much alcohol. Beautiful season. We harvest in the 18 and 19 in October. It's a little bit late, but it's mean more fruity, more freshness, more complexity, and 16 and is a great vintages. Maybe the next it should be 19. I think it should be similar to 16.
Well, we can't wait to be doing those tastings in a year's time with you, with the 18s, or maybe a little longer.
Yeah, we wait a couple of days, couple years. No, so, 17 is a little bit more powerful, a little bit more warm, and we have more alcohol. 18 is beautiful aromatic, but a little bit lean and soft, and 19 is another good vintages, full body, strong and richer. This is, but we have after 2014, It's been a not so great vintage Teoter after.
Uh-huh.
It will be in every year we have a good expression for Barolo, also for other wines.
Well, the democratic vote of the night seems to be that San Giuseppe has it all, has the win of the most favored wine of the three Barolo that we've seen tonight. It's interesting because that was my favorite one when I was first tasting at 11 o'clock today. It just seemed something about the components together right now in terms of drinking it right now. If I could take a 10-year view, and I don't think my wine cellar is big enough to do that, but if I could take a 10-year view, I really love the Bussia, but it's very, very early days. In terms of cellaring, Grant, I would say I would agree with Lou. 15 years for me, I would say on the Giuseppe, and 20 on the Monforte and the Bussia. Those two are going to start to show very different characteristics as they get older, but equally fascinating, I think.
Yeah, but it's a great vintage for aging. It's a great vintage, but 5-6 years is a good time for drink for me. You don't wait too much.
Yeah, I'm with you, Orlando. I'm with you. Are there any more questions? Are there any more questions before you go to that fantastic restaurant that you took us to? I can still remember the pasta that we had that day.
Yeah.
Are there any questions for Orlando? No questions. It's a quiet night. Orlando, thank you so much for coming. It was
I've
great.
got to do my normal question. I've got
Oh,
to do it.
okay. Yeah, the traditional. Yeah.
Allora, Orlando, when
Yes.
you're not drinking Barolo, what do you drink?
Oh,
Too
I
much.
drink Barolo not often. I drink. I don't drink often Barolo. Because Barolo is a little bit come si dice, aristocratic wine. You need to have people with you. You don't open the bottle of Barolo yourself. But I love sparkling right now. I love sparkling.
Really?
I like for myself sparkling wine. Voltalanga or Champagne or Trentino, I love a lot. But it's more you have more time for drink sparkling. Barolo is you have a dinner, you have friends. Is a little bit complex to have together, but everything together. But Barolo is I like Brunello as well because it's the mostly important wine from Italy. But Barolo and Brunello's some Pinot Noir from Bourgogne is I think is the best red wine in the world.
Yeah.
I have also very good experience for Pinot Noir from Oregon. Is another great place. I love Pinot Noir. Is into my heart, and but with the Barolo we have a more satisfaction. We have a more quality every year. Pinot Noir is very difficult to find that.
Well, Orlando, I have to say we're going to be faithful followers of the Pinot Noir because we drink quite a lot of it out of Italy, and to my mind, I can only think of one other Pinot that comes close to this level of finesse and finish. And we looked at it also at 16, I think, from Sicilia, so a different style. But we tasted it quite recently, and I'm thinking of just the two of you as the best Pinot Nero I've ever had out of Italy. Really extraordinarily good quality and great value for money. Let's hope that the followers of Burgundy don't discover your brand too quickly, because then the price will go up and it'll become crazy.
Yeah, I know. But they have also very huge problem about the frost. They have a frost. The last 4 or 5 years, they have a huge damage for. They lost 50, 60. Also this year, 2021 in April, we have 3 or 4 nights. We lost. I lost nothing because my vineyard is a little bit altitude, But for example, because the Nebbiolo is start very it started first, and in 7 April was the shoot was a little longer. And for example, in few places in down of Tesseralunga, down in, for example, Barolo, they lost maybe 10 or 15% of the vineyard. But in Bourgogne is huge problem, and maybe they have no wine in the next 5-6 years. They have big problem for that.
Yeah, 2021 in Burgundy, they lost at least 30%, at least.
Yeah. General, I think just 30%. Here